Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Gigi and today's video is about we are all connected.
Hey, my beautiful world, as the time goes by, you give me reason to live.
Have you ever wondered every time you hear the phrase we are all connected, you start to wonder how? 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 Me too. Maybe a little bit esoteric, maybe not, but I will try to elaborate. I have to read you the transcript of Tom Chi. He's an astrophysicist. He had this TED Talk in 2013, and he did it in three simple stories. First, the story of the heart. Second, the story of the breath. The third is the story of the mind. Tom Chi is a brilliant astrophysicist. He managed to explain. Go dive in. BRB. Be right back.
So let's start from the heart.
Hey, my
Right now,
beautiful world.
our hearts are beating, pumping blood, moving oxygen. And why do our hearts do this? Well, it's actually to move hemoglobin around. According to Tom Chi, it's actually the action is not even on the hemoglobin per se. The hemoglobin carries four molecule called Hemb. And in the heart of the Hemb molecule is a single iron atom, and this is the critical piece of hemoglobin because basically this iron atom is the thing that allows oxygen to bind and move all around the body and nourish us and allow us to live for our breath to mean something. Now, at the heart of Hemb is a single atom of iron. So, in a way, at the heart of our heart is this little iron atom. And this is actually really a central part of the hemoglobin molecule because this is the thing that allows us to bind oxygen and move that through our circulatory system. But one thing that you may not know is that the only way that iron is created in the universe is through supernovas and through supermassive stars. According to him, the universe started with basically no iron at all, hydrogen, helium, and only through the process of these stars forming and exploding was iron able to be created. That now courses through each one of our veins. But the story doesn't really end here. Because according to him, why the stars keep forming? Actually, after a supernova happens, it may be a long time before those gases come back together to form a star. So, in order to understand how this works, we need to understand why stars would form. So, to fast forward, this process of colliding galaxies with each other, it's a process that the gravitational dance of 100,000 galaxies swirling together, which drive the process of galaxies colliding, which drive massive star formation, which drive the process of creating the iron. The courses through each one of our veins, which every heartbeat, and in this way, every one of our heartbeats is connected. The second story, this is the story of the breath. Now, breathing is just one of these amazing pleasures in life. We do it unconsciously, but can also be one of the most grounding, connecting things just directly as a human being. But these things that we take for granted is actually not a thing that was possible on this earth 3 billion years ago. So, according to him, we have the composition of the atmosphere of the Earth during that time period. We had about the same amount of nitrogen, but we had almost no oxygen at all. So you would be taking a breath in vain 3 billion years ago, and we actually had a huge amount of carbon dioxide. And the net effect was an almost inhabitable planet. The only organisms that could exist that time were single-celled organisms inside of stromatolites and other closed spaces. Now, luckily for us, one of those organisms that was alive at this time was something called a cyanobacteria. That's a picture of it in the background. And this organism has the special trick that we call photosynthesis, the ability to go take energy from the sun and transform carbon dioxide into oxygen. To fast forward, according to him, in fact, there was actually no life ahead of that. The direct descendants of the cyanobacteria were eventually captured by plants, and they're now called chloroplasts. So this is a zoom in of a plant leaf where tons of little chloroplasts are still trapped, contributing to photosynthesis and making energy for the plants that continue to be the other half of our lungs on Earth. And in this way, our breaths are very deeply united. Every out breath is mirrored by the in breath of the plant, and their out breath is mirrored by our in breath. He also made an example with regards to this, because imagine for a moment, and this is a thought experiment. Imagine you were one of these little organisms 2 billion years ago. You might be born, you live a couple weeks, you die, and you kind of feel like, well, nothing really changed. I mean, I had no purpose in this life. Like, the world I came to is exactly the same as the world that I left. But what you wouldn't have never see, lives that we are all a part of today. And it's worth thinking that maybe the meaning of our lives are actually not even within the scope of our understanding, because it's true of every one of these organisms, and it may also be true of us. Last story of connection is the story of the mind. This is not our minds are all connected, is some psychic way of some scientifically unexplainable way. I'm going to explain the connection of the mind through the simple story of this instrument, the piano. To fast forward, according to him, the beautiful thing about this instrument is it is so nuanced and so textured and so complex, and so much beauty can be created from it that people can make an entire career. They can make an entire lifetime out of playing this instrument. Professional musicians, concert pianists get to know this instrument deeply, intimately, and through it, they will be able to create this sound in a way that just dazzles us and challenges us and deepens us. So, in short, according to him, it might come from a piece of artwork that you create. Each one of these ways of being, these things that we put out into the world through the creative process of mixing together all the other things that existed at the point that we were born, allow us to expand the palette of being for all of society after us. So this brilliant brain, Tom Chi, scientists, physicists, astrophysicists managed to put all these three stories together and created this marvelous knowledge and understanding about how the universe is, that because our hearts, our breath, and our mind are connected in this way. So, to cut it short, we are all connected by the iron in our hearts that came from the supernova billion years ago. The second is our contribution of the in-breath and out-breath to the plants and vice versa. The third is the power of the mind, the evolution of invention to another inventor to another inventor.
So you guys, I might be esoteric to some. You might agree or disagree. But whether you like it or not, we all came from love. I thank you all guys for watching. Please like and subscribe. Have a great week ahead. Enjoy. Love you all. Bye.
My beautiful world, as the time goes by,